Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!
Step back, call game like Dame. Now they all know our name. Crossover, then go straight to the hezzy. I'ma dunk it like Denny. Small market, yeah, we making it big. Now we got too many cameras. Clinging on guards like Drew. You can't even move, ain't nobody stopping us. Rip City Turner, we making some noise. Pass to the present, we get it like Roy. More to be rockin', we bringing the force. Yang with a dime, that's a bucket, of course. If straight about it dunk, you gotta move. Young and still hustling like Scoop. Come and tap in, see what's new. Blazers Uprise on the crew.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by Sleeper. Today, your Portland Trail Blazers win another basketball game as they dominate the Utah Jazz, winning by a final score of 137 to 117. The Blazers make 9 threes en route to the 20-point victory that saw this Blazers team up by as many as 32 points in this one. The Blazers completely dominated tonight against a team that many expected to be a bottom feeder, but has been decently competitive this year and was kind of right behind Portland in terms of the play-in race a few games ago. Well, now Portland has a 4-game lead on the Jazz. The Blazers have won 8 out of 12 games, and they're taking care of business lately. Big games from Denny Avdia, Shaedon Sharpe, pretty much everybody. Caleb Love had his moments. Sidy Cissoko had his moments. Donovan Clingan had his moments. Lots of good to talk about from today. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you doing? And you're muted.
What's up? Did I hear you went to the game?
Yeah, I went to the game. I had to get a Denny glass, so
yeah,
had to get a Denny glass
for your non-player stand fandom.
Yeah, yep. Had to get the Dame glass. I got a Dame glass. I got a Denny glass. I got a Scoot glass. So, but I didn't get the Jeremy Grant glass earlier this season. So maybe it is about me being a player stan.
I have them all. Far.
I agreed to trades for the Clingan and Sharp ones last year, and I have not enacted on those trades yet. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, great game, fun game to be at. Fun to see Shaedon Sharpe throw an alley-oop up close. I had pretty good seats. I got a pretty good deal. I was sitting down on the end. He caught that oop on in the first half, and just seeing that in person when you're sitting close enough where you're like below the rim is freaking wild. So really, really fun game. Maybe the biggest domination the Blazers have had so far this season. They beat the Warriors earlier in the year by about 20-ish points, but I don't know if they ever led by 32 points and was in control the way they were today. So a really fun game to be at and a really good win for Portland to take care of business, and now they've won 3 straight again.
Yeah, and this one we saw Utah just basically pack the paint and dare us to shoot, and the Blazers made them pay for that. That's one thing that I'm surprised hasn't happened more this season. But the Blazers sure made that game plan look silly with the way they shot the ball tonight, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah. We got autograph in chat saying, I saw Tori on the TV celebrating. Clip it, man. Clip it. Clip it for me. Send it to me or something. Because, yeah, cool. I'm finally made it to television. Anyway, I saw chat. I have no idea about any of this, Eric, but I saw chat worried about Clingan at the end there, who was playing in garbage time, which I kind of don't like. But was that one person like over worrying, or did something happen there that I'm not aware of because I was on the opposite end of the Blazers bench?
Well, I saw a post-game interview. He didn't seem injured, but when he walked to the sideline after finally being taken out with a couple minutes left, he was holding his arm and shaking it and rubbing his forearm or something, or his elbow. So yeah, I don't know. It's not without reason. He definitely looked injured when he came off the floor, but I don't know. I haven't heard if it's anything to be worried about or anything like that.
Probably got hit or funny bone or something. I don't know. I hope. But I was worried it was something knee-wise or leg-wise. If it's a forearm, then hopefully he's all right. He's tough. He's
only out 2 months instead of 3.
Yeah, he's only day-to-day for 2 months. we'll talk a little bit more about the injury stuff a little bit today because I have some new kind of thoughts there, or maybe not new thoughts, but I kind of am starting to believe one thing over another there.
Could I say something about that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Brock Calabro. He's like, so going to this game, Drew Holiday and Jeremy Grant were announced as day-to-day, so that's good news that they'll be back sometime soon to help this team out. And I'm just like, oh my god, they've been day-to-day for like weeks.
For forever. The thing is, man, like, this team better start being really good teams occasionally with those guys back, because if they're able to play this well with the guys they have now, those guys should be additions to what the Blazers got going on right now. But they're playing good basketball. They've won 8 out of 12. And this is where, when I was critical of them earlier in the season, I felt like they were capable of playing better basketball than they were even with this lineup. And what was I told? Injuries. They have no point guards. How can you expect them to not turn over the ball 25 times in a game? It was a lot of that sort of stuff. People basically thinking I was negative for expecting more out of this team and basically just making every excuse in the book. Well, once you look at that, they've won 8 out of 12 games now. They've won 8 out of 12 games now, and they look good doing it. They didn't just squeak out a win against Utah, which they did earlier in the season when they were healthier. No, they didn't just squeak out a win against Utah. They looked much better tonight than they did earlier in the season against Utah. They look better the last 10 games or so than they've looked all season long. They have Denny Avdia, who's playing like a superstar, just won Player of the Week. You got Shane Sharp finally stringing together some consistency. Worried isn't the right word, but I brought up how the past 3 games he had really struggled from the 3-point line and was hoping it wasn't a downturn. Well, it's not a downturn, I guess, because he was awesome today and also had a season high in assists. So he bounces back today, looks like a star today. You have Tamani Kamara making more threes now. He's slowly kind of rounding into form on the offensive side of the ball. You have Donovan Clingan, who's now a legitimate stretch 5, and he hits 2 threes today and a third one with his foot on the line. He is a legitimate stretch 5 at this point. And other guys are making more threes than they were earlier in the season. Caleb Love's been consistent from 3 lately. The Blazers have found a level of consistency from behind the arc, and then their best players are playing like the best players on the floor a lot of nights. Denny Avdia and Shaden Sharp are the best player on that floor tonight. Denny Avdia looks freaking amazing, man. That dude is different. And just seeing the speed and the violence in which he drives with up close and personal, TV doesn't do it justice. That dude is different. And if it wasn't for a blowout, which he had a huge part in this being a blowout, he probably would have gotten a 40-point triple-double today. So he continues to play lately he's playing like a top 10 player in the league. Am I allowed to say that? He won Player of the Week. But he's legitimately playing at a superstar level right now. So now it just gets me excited for March when the Blazers finally get a player back.
Before March? Yeah, hopefully. Someone better come back before March. That's ridiculous. That's still almost 2 full months away, Tori. Come on.
Yeah. You guys got to stick around for the second hour of the stream because I'm going to give you some more confident thoughts on this than I've given recently, where I'm like, it's one of the 3 things and neither of them look good. I think it's one particular thing, which may be obvious or maybe isn't obvious, but I see a lot of fans having discussions about the injuries in terms of like, oh, they're trying to tank, or oh, they're keeping Drew and Jeremy out because they're trading one of those guys because they're big salary pieces and all sorts of stuff. So we do need to have another conversation regarding the injuries. But despite the injuries, this team is still a solid basketball team, and we saw that tonight.
We also have some legit trade rumors, which for all those people asking in chat, we will talk about those later as well.
Yep, we got trade rumors, we got injury thoughts, we got a full jam-packed show.
The one that pisses me off the most, like a close second, is the Blazers are quiet tanking. They're not trying to lose games, but I get triggered by the Drew started sitting out and demanded a trade, and he won't play until he's traded. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. But we'll have that conversation once again when somebody has said to be out 1 to 2 weeks and then misses 8 weeks, it invites speculation. You can't even.
Right.
I can't even blame people for speculating that that's the cause. But yeah, I'll get into my thoughts. I don't want to tease it. I don't want to get into it too much. I want to tease it because I want people to watch the second hour of the show. This is how we hook people in. This is how we hook them.
Yeah, we'll trade talk. We'll get people too.
Yeah, trade talk. Diving into the injuries after we break down a phenomenal game. This is going to be a phenomenal show. Thank you for tuning in. Man, let's just pull up the team stats. Let's just pull up the freaking team stats. The Blazers go 19 for 48 from 3. They go 49 for 93 from the field, 53%. They go 20 for 21 from the free throw line. They shoot 95% from the free throw line. That's just...
Didn't get there a lot, but we'll take it, right?
They got there more than the Jazz, and they actually made free throws today. They made everything. Dude, they made everything today. They made everything today. Like, we've seen them go against bad teams and bad defenses and shoot sub 30% from 3, and it's a competitive game when it maybe shouldn't be. So I know people will just say, oh, they played the Jazz. The Jazz suck. True, but also they made a lot of shots today. They made some tough shots today. Shaedon Sharpe hit multiple tough threes. Caleb Love hit multiple tough threes. Denny Avdia started slow from 3, like missed his first 2 or 3, and didn't lose confidence. Made his 4th one. I believe it was his 4th one. Made a couple more the rest of the game. You can just tell he's playing with the utmost confidence, where even if he misses like 3 wide open threes to start the game, it's not affecting him. He's still gonna shoot the 3 ball confidently, still gonna be playing confidently. And I think that's kind of the theme from this game. This team played confident as hell today. Like, they're playing with a level of confidence, especially offensively lately, that is really, really fun to watch, and it's the reason why they're winning games. Like, you can't go into games thinking we're hurt or we're injured or, not having faith in your teammates, even though maybe it's justified because you have some guys on this team that are horrible from 3 so far this year. You still got to have faith in the guys next to you. You still have to go into games believing you have a chance to win, and they've done that recently, except for the OKC game on the road. You could tell they did not play with the same level of confidence, and OKC's actually been beatable lately. They lost at home to the Hornets. They're 6-6 in their last 12. Like, they look mediocre lately. I don't know what the hell happened, but they lose to Phoenix. They lose to Charlotte. So OKC's been beatable, but you could tell in that OKC game, Portland went into that game and did not play with the level of confidence that they have every other night lately, except for then. And that's why they got completely ran off the floor. There was nothing good to talk about from that game, where you look at the last 6 games, they've won 5 of them because they played confidently. They've beaten Boston. They've beaten Dallas. They beat the Spurs, although shorthanded. The Spurs have been pretty good even without Wemby this season. They blow out the Jazz. They win by double digits against the Pelicans, a Pelicans team that they lost by 23 earlier in the season. This team is just playing with a level of confidence offensively. I also think they're just starting to do a little bit more in terms of their half-court stuff. More off-ball screens. Like, Denny went and screened away and slipped the screen and got a cut to the rim, got hit with a backdoor pass. I believe it was Rob Will that threw that pass from the top of the arc, threw a dime. Like, when have we seen that so far this season? More on ball screens. Klingen's been great in the pick and roll. So they're starting to just do a little bit more offensively, which is helping open some things up. It's still maybe not to the level that I want, but when you have Shaedon Sharpe and Denny Avdia playing like superstars, you can get away with just having those guys create a lot of stuff and then running a little bit of action here and there. And with how good they've been lately, that's why they've been winning games. It's easier to be confident as a role player when you when in doubt, can just give the ball to Denny Avdia and he's going to carry your offense if he needs to. So really, really love the way this team's playing lately. It's been really fun to watch again. And it's funny because I don't know if it feels like they're doing it more. It feels like they're doing it more offensively than defensively. They give up 117 today. Some of that was in garbage time, but it's really the offensive stuff that I've been impressed with right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we know Denny's been masterful all year, but just he got a couple of like wide open threes today, and that one backdoor that you talked about leads to an open layup. Anytime you can get him a couple easy shots in addition to all the tough shots he made, man, that's awesome offense. And then on top of that, I really feel like Klingen's uptake on offense, both taking it strong. I know he missed a super wide open lay-in tonight, and missed an easy putback as well. But just his transformation on offense, I think, has really unlocked a lot of possibilities in terms of movement, in terms of teams having to guard him out at the 3-point line. That stretch he made where, one of them was a 2, I guess, but he made 3 straight jumpers from the top, and they were all like confident, like shooter type shots. Those weren't just like, oh, I'm wide open, I have to take this 3.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm a shooter now, I'm gonna make this shot, like I'm shooting this.
You can't
like,
leave me open type of attitude. Yeah.
Right. Like you can't. The third one was like, you can't even give me like a foot of space, I'm gonna knock this in your face. Like, I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like, and having that pick and pop option completely changes things. And then he's rolling hard the other times, and Denny found him a couple times again tonight. But like, I just think between the offensive rebounds, which he's been doing all season, but now like starting to add like an offensive game where the other team has to account for him and can't just put like their worst forward defender on him or something, like that's going to be really good for this offense. Now, if you mix it in with more movement, they had 32 assists tonight. You love to see that. 32 assists is awesome. They did get 19 fast break points. So a few of those were in transition, but just the movement felt better tonight. And I don't know, like a lot of the passes, I guess, were around the perimeter, but Utah was willing to live with that. So I just thought they did a really good job of I mean, they settled for a lot of threes, but they were like open threes that they were not just taking the first shot. They were making sure they got a good 3. And I don't know, this offense had a really nice flow to it. And it's amazing what happens when you make shots, which is why we continue, or I'll continue at least, to plead Joe Cronin to add consistent shooters to where we have this type of attack like more often.
Yeah. Just replace Chris Murray with the shooter. Like, everybody made shots except for, I mean, he was 3 for 4 inside the arc. The one he missed, he got blocked by the bottom of the rim. So good defense by the rim there. He was 0 for 4 from 3. And he was fine today. He had 3 steals, had 3 boards, 2 assists, and have a turnover, right? 3 for 4 inside the arc, had a couple impressive drives, but was 0 for 4 from 3. And it's just like, he's just an absolutely horrible 3-point shooter. And you see the wide open shots he gets, and then you imagine if that's like a legitimate shooter, and that would be great for this team, because then you're not relying on City Sissoko to go 4 for 5 from 3. You're not relying on Shaedon Sharpe to go 5 for 8 from 3. This team is still one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. It made 40% of their threes today, 19 for 48. But I think they could raise their floor a little bit just by having somebody in the Chris Murray role that could more consistently knock down threes. Because this team, they've been shooting a hot 3-ball lately. It's part of the reason why they've been playing so well. And it's a lot of guys that were shooting 25% from 3 a month ago, and we're having conversations about all these 25% 3-point shooters. And now you look at Klingen, and he's like 34% from 3 after this game. You look at Sharpe, he's like 33 or 34% from 3 for this game. So that shows you how well they've been shooting the past month or so, considering they were at 25%, now have risen to almost the mid-30s, which is great. But Shaedon Sharpe in the month of December shot 44% from 3. And if he can be that level of shooter, then we're living in paradise. But at some point, the shooting's probably going to cool off a little bit. That's where the trade deadline's coming up. The trade deadline's in a month. That's where maybe it makes sense to go and try and get a Vit Krejci or a Zvi Mikhailuk, who played in this game, but the Blazers did a good job not giving him clean looks from 3. But he's a solid shooter. Just somebody that's not going to play a whole lot, but can come in, space the floor, knock down those shots consistently, because the Blazers can certainly get open threes. There was a graph lately that was basically saying that Portland gets one of the highest shot qualities from three, but makes one of the lowest percentages. And I feel like part of the reason why they get a lot of quality shots from three is because they don't have particularly good shooters. But then when they make shots today, they look unstoppable because you got Shaden off the dribble, you got Denny off the dribble. They collapse defenses consistently. Shaden has a season high 7 assists. He made kick out passes and guys made threes. Denny 9 assists. We've been talking about his playmaking. His playmaking has gotten a boost lately, I think, because this team has been shooting a little bit better from three. Also, he's just making some really, really impressive plays. So, love it when this team makes threes. It's going to make everything look better. So hopefully they can keep it up because they've been tough to guard even with the guys they're missing because of their shot making.
Yeah, and I wonder what's Love's 3-point percentage up to.
So
I don't know
going into this game, he was 32%.
Okay, that's a lot better than it was.
Than 25%, yeah.
Yeah, so he's improved a lot too, and that was now his 8th straight decent or good game.
Yeah.
So that's helped a lot as well, just having someone else who can shoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the other thing I found funny during this game is like, can we finally put to bed this stupid like we have to choose between Denny and Sharp? Like they can both play well together. They're starting to get a little bit more comfortable, passing the ball back and forth with each other, and we need them both to be successful in if this thing is going to work out. In my opinion, I don't think it's.
Who said we have to choose between those two?
Well, it's mostly Denny stands, but yeah. So like, there's a lot of people who get frustrated with Sharp not passing to Denny enough. Some games.
Those guys' chemistry has improved a lot in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Maybe it's just more time playing with each other. But like they played with each other last year as well. But their chemistry has been much better. They've been playing off of each other. Like they had multiple plays where those guys were playing off each other in this game, and they both had absolutely great games. And they seem like the type of duo that should be able to play well off of each other. It kind of baffled me why earlier in the season they were struggling to play off each other. I think part of it was just Shane was shooting such a bad 3-point ball and was still spotting up a lot. And those kick-out passes resulted in a lot of missed threes. And then Sharp was playing with a ton of tunnel vision. He still struggles a little bit with that, but a night like tonight, like he made some plays for other guys and played off Denny a bit, and that's the progress that you want to see between those two guys. But it's not like Shaden Sharp being aggressive in this game took away from Denny at all. Sharp shot 19 shots, Denny shot 19 shots. They each played, Denny played 29 minutes, Sharp played 27. Denny was 10 for 19, Sharp was 11 for 19. Like, there's plenty of shots to go around, especially right now with some of the guys on the floor. It's not like one guy can only take 20 shots in a game and the other guy has to take 10. You just want these guys both playing off each other well, playing with some flow, getting out and running too, because both of these guys are lethal in transition. So if they can both get out and run together, that's really tough to stop. So yeah, I really like the development between those two guys where it seems like they're starting to kind of understand each other and play well off of each other.
Yeah, and I mean, it does take some time to it's very easy to just be like, okay, it's your turn to, especially without a point guard, like your turn to try and score, make something happen. Okay, now I have the ball. I haven't touched it in 3 possessions. Now I have to try to score or whatever. And, Denny's done a really good job of being consistent with both passing, playmaking, and shooting. In fact, we've had conversations about maybe even being too unselfish at times, but yeah, Sharp definitely. I don't know. I think in the last couple of weeks you can see him, like when they're both up top, you can see how the defense shifts to whoever has the ball, and I think they're both starting to realize that all it takes is that 1 second for the defense to take an extra step to try and help, or just be concerned about a drive from either one of them, and that's all the other one needs. So you just throw it over to the other person once that defender turns his head or something like that, and they can attack that open space really quick. And they've just been doing a better job of that the last couple of weeks, I think, rather than just, oh, I gotta shoot this shot because I have the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will say I do feel pretty vindicated in my belief that this team could play better basketball than they were until the last 12 games, man. Like it's funny how things can be framed differently. We're being critical of the team when they have 25 turnovers is like a negative thing, but it's being called negative from people that expect them to turn over the ball 25 times in a game because they have no point guards. And I'm sitting here saying, no, you shouldn't expect this team to turn over the ball 25 points per game. I think that's the negative thing. If you think all these guys are so incapable that they have to turn over the ball 20 to 25 times because they need a point guard. Well, look at this. They've been much, much better in that regard lately. The criticism for the fouling, they only sent Utah to the line 17 times today. They were just straight up disciplined today defensively, and that's all they needed to be. Like, they didn't need to have a amazing defensive game against this Utah team. They just needed to play okay defense and not shoot themselves in the foot, not have turnovers turning into runouts for them, and not having a bunch of fouls that turned into a 30 free throw game for them. And that's why when you combine that with, oh, you had a really good shooting night and Denny was cooking and Sharp was cooking, that's how you end up being up by 32 points instead of sitting here making excuses. So that's the recipe for a win. I've talked about it multiple postgame shows. Don't turn over the ball. Just be solid. Just be smart. These guys are capable of playing smart enough basketball, even without a point guard, to not turn over the ball 20 to 25 times a game. And this team should be smart enough to not foul at the crazy high rate that they've been fouling this season. And yeah, 40% from three is a really good mark, and that number reduced. They were almost at 50% in the fourth quarter before garbage time. Yeah, that's probably not sustainable, but the other things I think can be if they just play smarter and play more disciplined, and now that they have been lately, you combine that with the confidence they've been playing lately, they're not making excuses for themselves, and this is exactly why you should not make a bunch of excuses for this basketball team, because they were capable of more. And now we're seeing it. So,
well, the other part of that too is I feel like I constantly see these posts that are like the Blazers have been down 6 rotation players and still have this record or whatever. But like, if you break down each individual game, we have played a lot of teams that are in similar situations, missing a ton of players. The schedule was one of the toughest when you looked at it, and we played OKC 4 times, so that definitely skews it as well. But the thing is, like, it never accounts for, wow, they totally could have had this game or should have been more prepared for this one. Just for example, like the Lakers game earlier this season when they were without Luka and LeBron and Reeves, and we were still relatively healthy at that point, and it's just
we had just beaten the Lakers when they were healthier too, so that was one of those games where they just came in and didn't, but like they weren't ready for their opponent. They took their opponent lightly.
Or the Spurs game for the Cup group title or whatever. Like, we just laid a complete egg in that one. They were missing a couple guys, including Wemby, in that one. We just beat the Spurs without Wemby as well.
Yeah.
We played the Pelicans the other day. No Derek Queen. Forgot who else didn't play in that game, but I think they were missing Murphy and Herb Jones. Yeah. Like, so it's not to just say like, oh, the Blazers can't win this game, or wow, it's really crazy how they're actually even playing anywhere near these teams with how many people are out. They still have had opportunities to win games, and I always get frustrated with that because it makes it sound so negative. But like, we actually thought this team was better than it was, and that's considered negative because
It's all
we
framing.
don't think,
It's
right?
all framing.
But
Yeah.
like, if you think this team is absolute ass, then they win 15 out of 20 or 15 if they have a 15-20 record like they had going into this game or whatever it was. If you didn't expect anything from this team, then you're such a positive optimist because look how good they're playing or whatever. Like, that's what is so frustrating because like you and I expect more, we demand more, we want this team to win a championship eventually. So when we make moves to like whether it's, I mean, I don't think this is what happened, but like a lot of fans think we wanted Young for merchandise sales and ticket sales and viewership, and like that kind of decision making doesn't lead to championships if that's what happened. And they also, give away second round picks or whatever and like make trades that people think are insignificant, but we try to say, no, that's not a good move, or this isn't a good use of your MLE when we sign Gary Payton and stuff like that. And it's because we think if they made better moves and smarter moves and played better basketball or played a certain way, like they all said they had to play heading into the season, like we feel like this team and organization could be on a higher trajectory. So, and they're still below 500. They've been playing great. It's just like we actually expect more. That's why we come across as negative, I think. But it's not negativity. It's just like
it's having a higher
think
standard.
They're better than we do. Yeah,
it's having a higher standard. Like there's a lot of people that hold this team to a very low standard when there's any sort of injuries. But like you said, there's been other teams in similar situations. It's normal across the NBA to have a bunch of injuries. Look at Denver. Denver was missing their whole starting lineup today and their backup center and beat Philadelphia. Because they had Jalen Pickett go off for 29. Like, there's teams that are injured, and obviously your chances for winning are going to be lower due to injury, but that doesn't mean you're incapable. All these guys are NBA players, like it's really hard to make it in the NBA. You have to be really, really good at basketball to be in the NBA. So I'm not going to put it past guys where, I expect 25 turnovers because they're missing point guards. Well, they got a point guard in Denny Avdia. That dude's a point guard. And they got some other guys that can handle the ball a little bit, and they're showing that they're capable of taking care of the basketball lately. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings. Hopefully this is updated. It is not, of course. That's the way it goes. But
we got some good. We had some good results tonight.
Yeah.
The Clippers win, but they beat Golden State, who were chasing for that 8th seed, and then the Suns lost as well.
Yeah. So the Blazers are now a game up on Memphis for 10th. They're now 3 games up on the Clippers for 11th. They're 4 games up on Utah and lead the season series 2-0. I'm looking at that Golden State Warriors team in 8th place, man. The Blazers only 2 games back, and they've already won the tiebreaker on the season, and they have their final game against Golden State coming up after this homestand. The Blazers have 2 games against Houston, a game against the Knicks, and then they go on the road to play Golden State. And they're 2 games back right now of Golden State. That 8 seed is gettable. And then you're in that 7-8 playing game. You have to win 1 out of 2 games to make your way into the playoffs. And yeah, we don't want to be the 8 seed. We don't want to play OKC. I'm not going to get fooled by them being very mediocre lately. It's still really, really tough team, but it's good experience even if they get that 8 seed. And if they get that 7 seed, you get some guys back. You get somewhat healthy, you make a move at the deadline, like maybe you can be in a legitimate playoff series at the end of the year. That's the hope. And their recent stretch makes that hope plausible. Like, it's not that far-fetched for this team, given they have one of the weakest schedules the rest of the season, given they're waiting on some guys to come back. They're starting to figure out things offensively. They got guys that have been improving offensively. They still, I think, have a lot of room for improvement defensively that they're capable of achieving. This season could go the direction where I could see them passing Golden State. And Phoenix has been really good. They just beat OKC, but they lost to Houston. The Blazers are only 4.5 games back. They have some games left against Phoenix. Like, they have a really good opportunity ahead of them to get into that 7-8 playing game, and then at that point it's a 1-game play-in for the 7th seed, and if you lose, you still got a chance to play in for the 8th seed, and that's a home play-in game. So really, really great opportunity in front of them, and it's fun to be sitting here talking about the standings with the Blazers actually in a picture that means anything. It's been so long.
For 15th.
Yeah. Or like, oh, we cut it to 2 games behind the 10th seed. Maybe we can get in the play. No, they're pretty clearly in this picture. Now, the Clippers going to be tough to hold off. Like, it's not a given that they even get a 10 seed right now. This could go the other way. But this is why I talked about, a while ago, they just got to find ways to win games. Even if it's ugly, even if they don't play well, they got to find ways to get things done at the end of games. They got to play well enough. They got to just stack some wins with this schedule that they had coming up, and that's exactly what they've done. They've actually taken care of business over the last 12 games. They've won 8 of them, and that's why they're sitting here, and we can have these conversations that we're having right now. So it's exciting, man. It's been years since we've had any sort of conversations about maybe they can get a 7 or an 8 seed. I can't remember the last time we really paid attention to them chasing a team outside of a small window last season. Before that, it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't even remember. So fun to be sitting in this position that they're in. Still a lot of work to do, still a lot of improvement to make, but only 3 games below 500. You got 3 tough games on this homestand, but the Rockets will be out without Şengün. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can continue to get the job done and continue to make up ground here.
Well, it was just the 2022-2023 season, so 3 seasons ago that we got off to that good start and we're in first place in the West after like 14 games or whatever it was, and then completely fell off.
And tanked at the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, ended up tanking and then trading.
Got the 3rd pick.
They traded Josh Hart at the deadline, traded Dame in that offseason, so yeah.
Yeah, but that's the standings picture.
But no, it's fun. Yeah.
That's the standings picture. All right, we'll talk about players in a second here. I'm just building a box score graphic for that currently. So we'll take a look at some impressive stat lines that the Blazers had. Anything else that kind of stood out schematically from this game for you?
No, just I was pleasantly surprised on how the Blazers handled a team trying to completely take the paint out of it. And Blazers, I mean, obviously they're not going to shoot this well all the time, but this was like the most packed I've seen, or like most just like daring us to shoot I've seen a team try against us. I've said this before. If I was playing the Blazers, I would probably only guard a couple players and just let City Sissoko and Chris Murray shoot threes all game, even if they're hitting them. But tonight, I mean, when we make 19 threes, it's hard to overcome that if you're Utah. You're muted.
Oh, I was just saying absolutely like 4 times because I was trying to figure out what to say. On Utah's side of things, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go.
Oh, I was just gonna quickly go over. So Markkanen has 22. Nurk, man, 2 for 3 from 3, 21 points, 9 for 12 from the field. He had 12 boards, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. Nurk was really good today. Nurk was their best player today.
Would you want Nurk back next season in the backup role?
I don't hate it, but like I want a mobile big man change of pace guy that they actually use as a change of pace guy.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a mobile big and clean and get some foul trouble. I would want somebody that could protect the rim and also hopefully defend the perimeter a bit better than Nurk. But I do think if they feature Klingen's playmaking more in the offense next year, then you can kind of run some of the same stuff with Nurk's ability to pass. So I don't hate him on like a minimum contract. I think there's worse center options that you could go for. I know some fans would lose their minds having him back, but he's been okay. You know, he's still not the most efficient big, but he passes, he rebounds, he sets good screens. He's capable of having games like this offensively. So as a backup, that would be playing, 16 minutes a game. I don't hate it.
Yeah. And then as we get into the Blazers team stats or player stats,
Yeah.
I did see one. I don't think he's in here in the live stream, but he was in our Discord after the game. Rytek was saying he was a little bit torn on Denny having to sit the fourth quarter tonight because he wanted him to get a triple.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm just like, dude, okay. Once again, never going to tell anyone how to fan, but we should be very happy that Denny got to rest a little bit in a game because we know he's not going to miss an actual game or sit out, or we're not going to give him a day to rest in terms of just sitting out a game, nor would he want to. So anytime he still put up incredible stat line in less than 30 minutes. So you absolutely take that. And he was on pace to play 38 plus minutes at halftime in this one. So the fact that he played less than 30, like, you absolutely take that and you don't ever question it, especially since his stats were better than his seasonal averages. So yeah.
No offense, but that is just typical player stan, where you're rooting for your player to have the best stat line possible. And listen, I wanted Denny to get a 40-point triple-double, but at the end of the day, this dude's been playing an obscene amount of minutes, and the last thing you would want is for Denny to be playing meaningless minutes after playing as many as he has had to play lately, trying to chase a stat line, and then he gets hurt. That's the last thing you want. Any Denny fans that feel torn about him playing not playing the fourth quarter and not being able to chase maybe a 40-point triple-double or whatever he could have gotten, just imagine what your reaction would have been if he did play and something bad happened when they were up 25 against the Jazz and have the game won. That's how you don't feel torn about that sort of thing. That's how you can feel okay with what happened. This guy needed some rest. He's been playing hard as hell lately. And he's been playing really, really good basketball, of course, and okay, you get some rest. Like, he's good enough where you don't have to like feel bad about him not being able to chase a bigger stat line. He'll have plenty of opportunities to put up greater stat lines than this. This is not a normal stat line. It was a really good stat line, but he has a bunch of games like this.
Stat line.
Yeah, it's an amazing stat line, but he has a bunch of games like this. This isn't going to be the last night this season where he has 33, 9, and 8. Knock on wood. Like, assuming he stays healthy. This isn't going to be the last time he has 33, 9, and 8. So, he doesn't need a stat hunt. Like, he's not Brooke Lopez, who has 9 threes, a career high, and then it's like he might as well just hunt 12 threes because he's never going to hit 9 threes in a game again.
Can I ask who Z Avdi is?
Yeah, it's just a typo. That's
funny. I'm trying to think of like what Z nickname I should give him.
Zenny
Avdi. Mm-hmm. Is that his brother? You have a twin brother?
Yeah, twin brother.
Like Murray.
There, I'll fix it. Anyway, since we're on the topic of Denny, what did you think about his play today?
I mean, he got off to a bit of a tough start, but he was still playmaking for others. And, he was awesome after that. Like, I guess it would just be the second and third quarters. But I think I actually wrote it down. So at halftime, he had, I think it was 23 points at halftime. And, 23 at halftime with 4 assists and 0 turnovers. So, him and Sharp had 9 assists at half with no turnovers. That was awesome. But both of them, as Brooks said on the broadcast, had almost full game stat lines in the first half. And just Denny was awesome once again. Man, that one behind the back rip through dribble, or he got to the cup and laid it in. Man, that was pretty.
That was so shifty. Like, he's not necessarily the shiftiest player. He's like very strong, quick, like decisive, takes sharp driving angles, right? Doesn't really dance with the ball a whole lot, but that was shifty, man. Because that was on my side of the court, sitting pretty close. Like, that was a shifty move, and then just the way he then ripped through off of it. Like, how do you guard that, man? He shakes you one way, you recover, and then he's ripping through the other, and he's doing it so strongly. And it's that same rip-through move, Eric, that he scored on that people try and act like that's not a scoring move. He's just foul baiting when he does that rip-through move. I think he scored off of it multiple times today. That is absolutely a scoring move. You kill the ball low so that it doesn't get stripped. You keep the ball low so that if they reach, they're going to hit your arms instead of the ball. And people want to act like that's an unethical move, which is just insane to me. That's a great move. That's exactly what you should do in certain situations. Like, you can't just, you don't want to bring the ball up and say, here, hit it. Of course you're going to kill it low, rip it through strong so the ball doesn't get hit. And if you get touched, you're getting fouled. And if not, you're getting to the rim. Like, that's a great move. That's a hard to guard move. That's kind of his go-to. But as a defender, like, you can't over pursue him one direction when he can make that move. You can't he starts to drive one way. You kind of got to respect it. You can't try and completely cut him off too soon, or else he's ripping through the other way and you have no chance at hitting the ball. If you reach, you're going to foul him, and he does it so strongly, it's hard to get back in front of him. So, It's just really hard for teams to guard because you can't really fully cut him off once he gets going one way, because that's such a quick, deadly move. And if you don't cut him off going one way, he can get all the way to the rim, as we've seen. And then if you do somehow effectively cut him off, he started to show off the step back mid-range when defenders do that. He's slowly becoming like legitimately unguardable to me, which is how you know that dude's a star. We talk about how hard it is to contain star players in this league. Denny, when he has all that clicking and then the three-point shot and then the passing out of it when you send two, like, there's really no good way to defend him.
Well, people thought they had figured out the book on Denny, and that was that he can only go right. And they, over the last month or so, they've really tried to cut him off from going right. And that's why that rip through back to the left when he takes a dribble right and then rips through to the left while going at you with a full head of steam. That's like so hard to guard when you're trying to overplay him and not letting him go right. And that's been a game changer for him, is just the ability to switch back to the left like that, and defenders have no choice but to stick their hand out and foul him.
Yeah, because he's not like crossing over and then having to put the ball on the floor. Like, some guys in the situations that we're talking about, they have to like try and cross between the legs and then take another dribble to get to the rim, where Denny's just killing his dribble in 2 steps and getting to the rim. He doesn't even have to cross over or take a dribble with his left. He just keeps going downhill and he shifts it back to the left, takes 2 long steps because he's 6'9", and that's how he counters that. He doesn't even have to rely upon putting the ball on the floor or like crossing over and getting stuck on a crossover because he has to switch his hips. You know, guys that play more left to right, and this kind of applies to Sharp a little bit. When you get cut off going right and then you try and cross and you like turn your body with the crossover to try and beat the guy the other way, and you're playing more east to west, that's where like physicality can get the better of you, because you're not playing downhill and you're not playing at the defender. You're not initiating the contact. So instead, if there's contact initiated upon you, that's when you end up off balance or not having a good angle to the rim to finish. And then Denny's just so north-south with that sort of move. He gets cut off. It's just quick kill dribble. and he's not afraid of the contact, and he just plays through the contact and plays straight at the rim, and that's why he's so effective. So, you know, that's just a difference in like the players, but that's also why he's able to you can't just cut him off going right, because he'll hit you with that, and if you cut him off going right and he hits you with that, it's really hard to guard. You're either fouling because you're trying to reach, or he's getting value.
Yeah, and if he can ever get the defenses to then shift back to the left or back to the middle, then his strong right hand trash will be even more open. So, man, it's just he had some really nice finishes too. Over like he had one bank shot. It wasn't quite a lay-in, but it was a really difficult angle.
Yeah, he's getting good at that angle, like 5 to 7 feet out.
Yeah, and yeah, man, just another awesome game from Denny.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, you know what we haven't seen that's in his bag that he used to use a ton? Can you guess? Can you guess the move?
No.
Chat, can you guess the move? I'll give a shout out to anybody in chat that can guess the move that I'm talking about. Because there's a specific move he used to go to a lot, and we're not seeing it lately, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think there's a good reason why we're not seeing it lately. We got Sham God, nope. Post up, spin move, jump stop, nope. Shout out to William VU, said the deceleration step. Where he steps on that second foot.
Sometimes.
He's used to do it a lot more. You know why I think he's doing it a lot less?
He doesn't have to.
Because he's beating everybody off the dribble.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need to decel and get all crafty because he's like stuck in traffic. He's blazing past everybody off the dribble right now. I think part of it's just because he's starting to hit some of these tough threes, so now defenders are having to play him a little tighter, giving him a little bit of room. He's just beating everybody off the dribble and getting to the rim so quickly, like he's beating the help a lot of times, or he's not afraid to jump into the shot blocker. Like he doesn't need to rely upon the crafty deceleration step right now, and that's not all the time, and sometimes he'll still break it out, but he used to use that a lot more, especially last year, and now it's just he's getting to the rim full speed.
Yep.
Shout out to William for guessing the move. All right. What'd you think of Shaden tonight?
I mean, Shaden was really good, obviously, shooting the ball. And then you love to see finally the assist to turnover ratio being an incredible number instead of a negative number. And then, man, seeing him throw a lob, that got me hyped.
I'm forgetting what play he threw a lob.
He threw a lob to Chris Murray for a dunk.
Oh, I was so shocked by Chris Murray catching a lob dunk that I didn't even realize who threw that pass.
Yeah, that was sharp. Yeah.
You know what's funny?
It looked like a Denny lob, but man.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like he had the jump ball before, and it was against Laurie, who's a 7-footer. I was like, okay, well, it's Chris Murray against a 7-footer. We definitely lost this jump ball. Like, basically, he can't jump. We got lucky and won it, but it's not because Chris Murray won it. The ball just got like tipped around to us.
Yeah.
But then the next play, he has this alley-oop dunk. I was like, oh, he heard me. He heard me. He had to prove me wrong. I forgot who threw that pass. So,
yeah. Well, and then this is such a like weird thing to say when you're like trying to have the potential of a star player. But there was a play where he got a steal or a loose ball or something, and he like immediately looked for Denny and gave it to Denny, and then Denny lobbed it back to him.
You know what's funny is his most unselfish moments are when he gets the ball on a 2-on-1 fast break. He will always pass it because he's getting a lob back, which is the right play. But he will always, like lately, he's always throwing that pass. He even threw it to Ryan Rupert because he knows like lob's coming.
Yeah, but Laurie knew it was coming too, and he
Doesn't matter.
then he still threw it over the top. Yeah,
Does not
but
matter.
but no, I feel like sometimes he would just try to drive on his own, at least in the past. But that was a really good change of I don't know. It's just I like that he's not looking to force some shot because I mean, we know he's been at times an elite finisher, but he's also lately had some games where he's kind of struggled or like gotten blocked a lot, and especially I don't remember if that was last game or the game before, or both of them. I think it was against the Spurs, right, where he kept driving in and getting blocked or couldn't really get a shot off very easy. And so just the fact that he's like recognizing, oh, if I just give it up here, I could get an easy dunk at the end. I do think, yes, it's like unselfishly selfish, but like it's also the right
It's not
basketball
selfish
play.
if it's
Yeah,
the right play. You remember that
yeah,
spiel I went on a few streams
yeah.
ago?
Right.
It's the right play. Like, as a defender, your best bet is to lay back and like basically almost give up a lay-in to the guy he passes it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's on the guy he passes it to make that defender commit and then lob it, right? You kind of go up with the same motion, or can, if you're really trying to get the defender to commit. It's you're going strong with your right or left or whatever. You're trying to get that guy to commit to try and block the shot, and then you just turn it into a lob. And you can just throw it in a wide area like Repair did. I thought Repair threw it way too high. Like it felt like Sharp caught that at the top of the backboard, which is just insane.
As long as you don't throw a laser to where he can't get to it in time, like I feel like you just have to
You just throw it above the rim, let it
anywhere.
float
Yeah.
there. You don't even really have to time it because you can just go up and get it. So you just
Yeah.
get it above the rim, let it kind of float there, and he'll go get it. He'll go dunk it. So
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Sharp hit his threes tonight too. So, I mean, this is the kind of game that, I mean, I don't think we can expect this from him because he's never really had these type of games where he both shot well and passed the ball this well without turning it over at all. But if he could ever come close to these kind of efficiency numbers with like better assist to turnover ratio or just at least a positive one, I mean, that's when we can start to talk about having something really special here with him and Denny.
yeah, I want to watch back his assists and see how many were just like swing passes or kick out passes. Because they'll throw those, like the creative stuff, the lobs is stuff that I wanted to see more of, and he the Murray lob was
he had a couple
nice
pocket
for that
passes
reason.
in this one too.
Yeah, the pocket
I don't
passes.
think that. But no, he actually had one of his assists was just him and Denny were passing back and forth, and Denny shot a three and made it.
Yeah. Which is funny how he doesn't get those assists in the flow of. Why is that a Mavericks graphic? What in the world? Anyway, let me fix that. I don't know what that is. I'll take any assists from Sharp. Yeah, like 7 assists, especially because he took care of the ball today. He did have a turnover where he kind of fell due to physicality. I think that was his only turnover. So, still struggles with physicality off the dribble, but a 7-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Like, he just needs to make the right read more often than not and make the game easier on himself by doing so. Sometimes he makes the game harder on himself trying so hard to score instead of just reading the floor and trying to make the right play. So him doing that was nice to see today. He did take a couple tough threes, but he knocked them down like that. That I forget what they call the move, but the between the legs crossover to the right and then step it back to the left. Dame was really good at that move, and Sharp's that move looks really sharp for Sharp right now, no pun intended. And he knocked it down. What, 2 threes off that move, Eric? Was it 2?
I think it was 2, yeah.
Yeah, which is a tough move. It's not the easiest shot, but it looks good for him right now, and it looks smooth for him right now. So if he can make that shot, that's a really tough move to guard. And then if he can make that shot consistently enough, if you can hesitate on that move, like make that move into a hesitation, like that's a killer move. So like that he made some tough threes today. His shot making is just slowly getting better, like his tough shot making. And just like that, after 3 games where he struggled from 3, he bounced back today. The shot looked good, and we're just searching for that level of consistency from him. And seems to me like he's finally starting to find it. Still, 1 month samples aren't anything. I mean, we used to have conversations about Nasir Little, who 1 month would go like 45% from 3, and the next month go 25% from 3. So it is great to see. Still going to be curious to see if there's any sort of drop off this season from 3, or if this is just truly the turning point in terms of the shooting that we've seen for the last month.
Yeah, you brought up the physicality thing. I think it was Collier who was getting into him a little bit. That would have been either end of the third quarter or beginning of the fourth quarter. Man, that's my one critique of the offense. It's like when you see a defender play and Shea that way, that's the one time I think we definitely need to come screen like pick and roll for him.
Yeah.
And I was kind of calling for like, dude, give him a freaking screen, and then he'll get Collier off of him, and then he'll have a downhill chance to go. But yeah, I mean, the Blazers obviously didn't need that this game, thankfully, but it just in the future, if Denny's out of the game and someone's playing sharp like that, I think they should go back to more of a traditional pick and roll offense.
Yep. Toumani Camara has been starting games hot lately. He hits 2 threes in the first few minutes of this game, and those are the only threes he makes.
How many did you shoot?
8. So 2 for 8 from 3. And he started, I think, 2 for 3. So missed his last 5, if I'm correct, that he started 2 for 3. But he's been starting games really well and giving the Blazers a boost at the start of games, which is nice. 5 for 12 from the field, so he was 3 for 4 inside the arc. Got to the line 3 times, had 3 assists, 3 turnovers. Solid game from him. I still think his defense is just not particularly good, but
yeah, it's been okay.
I mean, he got back cut a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Had 1 steal, no blocks. This is why I hate.
3 turnovers.
Yeah. But this is why I hate the overplay guys constantly searching for steals, because how many steals are you going to average a game? 1.5 or 2? Like, that's what percentage of your defensive possessions? 5% of your defensive possessions? All right. So if you're overplaying all the time hunting for steals and you get steals 5% of the time, what's happening on the other 95% of possessions? Like, He got back cut a couple times in this game, and I didn't like to see that. But also he plays when he denies and overplays, he shades towards the ball, which makes him easier to back cut because he's not close to the guy. If the guy does back cut, he can't bump him a little bit. He doesn't have as much space to recover before the ball gets by him. So the offense, the shooting has been better lately. Wish he kept it up and got in on the party after his first couple of threes, because everybody was making threes except Chris Murray and him. But still, solid game. Like, it's not really a critique. Had a nice and one finish. Had a couple nice finishes in this game, which was cool.
Yeah. Those seem more like just throwing them up and having to go in, but we'll take them, right?
Kenneth says he got 2 steals tonight. I don't know. I'm looking at the box score. It says he got 1. So, but
yeah, maybe they stat corrected 1 or something.
So Klingon today, 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. One of those was a grenade where he was like moving to the right, which I've never seen him shoot a 3 moving to the right. If he can, if he can ever add that, then we're talking about I don't know. We're living in a different universe. I don't know. I guess that's modern NBA. You should expect your 7'3" rim protecting center to hit threes moving to the right? But all jokes aside, I have full confidence in his shot right now. I was watching him because I got there super early to make sure I got a glass, and I was watching him warm up and just knock down three after three after three, and like the ball just looked like it was snapping out of his hands so well. His shot looks legitimately good right now. His follow through is just super clean. He gets good rotation. Like his form is legitimately good. So last year he kind of had a little bit of a hitch, like when he released, and it's still kind of there, but it's not as pronounced. And even, do you know what I'm talking about? Where like his hand kind of snaps inwards a little bit, then back out.
Yeah.
So I was watching him, and like I kind of noticed it shooting around, but like the ball was still coming off his hand cleanly and forward. It was kind of like after the ball came off his fingertips. So, his form is good. His follow through is in release point is getting more consistent, I think.
Like, obviously this isn't as pronounced with Dame, but have you ever watched like the slow-mos of Dame where like the ball kind of moves in his palm and he doesn't have it in his fingertips a normal shooter?
Just super
like,
abnormal, yeah.
Yeah, but it's almost like that with Klingon at times. Like he doesn't have full grip of the ball and he shoots it anyway, but his form overall is pretty good other than that.
Well, as a big, when you have huge hands, you can't like grip the ball as a shooter because you're not going to have soft touch. Like you kind of have to have your hand soft on the ball, since if you grip it too hard with your hand too big, like think about if you're shooting like a Nerf ball, you kind of have to let it like lay in your hand and roll off your fingertips. You can't like grip it because it's not going to roll off your hand correctly. It's kind of similar, but the shot's legit. I am buying all the stock in the jumper right now. He got 3 blocks because Cody Williams was like, hey, I heard you haven't gotten many blocks lately. Here, let me drive right into you twice in a row.
He was like, no, he's more like, this guy Tori's on the audience tonight, and he's been talking crap about how he don't get blocks lately.
Well, you know what? There is a play that was a perfect example of what I've been talking about with him. I think it was Isaiah Collier in transition. Was it a transition play? But he got called for a foul on a shot that he blocked, and like he got all ball before there was any body. You know what play I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That play was like, that's why he doesn't do that more, is because he can cleanly block a shot. He has the worst whistle in the league, in my opinion, out of any big man in the league. Now, I don't watch every big man in the league, but oh my God, watching up close, there was multiple defensive boards where he was just getting freaking murdered, hacked. It was pissing me off. We're just getting, it's like the clearest foul, clear as day on these rebounds, and the refs don't call crap. We try to do that to other teams, and we always get called for it, right? But he just gets murdered on defensive rebounds where he'll lose the ball, and he's getting fouled, and they don't call it, and then he goes down the other way, and he'll get a block before getting body, and they'll automatically call a foul. I just don't really understand why his whistle's so bad, but there's just plays where he, like, that play, I feel like Prime Gobert doesn't get called for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Donovan Clingan does. I don't know. I hate his whistle. So, and you can tell he's frustrated at a lot of stuff all game long because he doesn't get a friendly whistle. I don't blame him for being frustrated. So I don't blame him for not chasing blocked shots when, if there's any contact, or even if he blocks the guy so hard he falls, it's a foul call on him.
Yeah. Outside of so there were a couple plays in, I don't remember if it was the third or fourth quarter, but there was one he had a post up against a smaller guy. He passed out for a three a couple possessions before that, where Denny hit a three, and he got an assist. But he had one where he turned the ball over, and then he was really sloppy with the ball a possession after that. But outside of those couple possessions, man, I just thought he was awesome tonight. And, you're going to miss shots every once in a while. I'm not worried about that. Overall, though, man, this guy has just been an absolute force around the hoop lately, and then even around the 3-point line. So he's just been playing awesome, man.
Yep.
And I've been talking about this for a couple weeks too. Just he's playing lately. Like, it seems like every game he's getting more and more feisty and like more gritty. Like it just he has this like I don't know if you want to call it energy or just passion or something. Like, it just like, I feel like the team feeds off it at times, and he just comes in the game, and the game just immediately shifts, just like the tempo and the flow and just the like getting those offensive rebounds can be such a backbreaker for the other team, because they play pretty good defense, and it doesn't matter because here's Donovan to give us like 3 chances at making a shot. But yeah, it's just I like everything about the way he's playing right now.
Yep, absolutely. And then Chris Murray, 10 points, 0 for 4 from 3. Was a plus 25 for you plus minus lovers out there. Thoughts on his game today?
Yeah, I mean, other than him just having one of the worst 3-point shots I've seen, I thought he was pretty good. Other than that, had a couple of nice drives and finishes. Had that nice cut with that lob we talked about with Sharp. Yeah, I thought other than that, he took a couple of his threes he took were just terrible decisions to shoot, considering how bad of a shooter you are.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of made up for it with a couple of drives. Had some good defensive possessions as well, but overall, okay. I guess just take it. Just wish he wouldn't shoot 4 times from 3, knowing he's not going to hit more than one of them.
Yeah, I don't want to see him shoot threes anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cut more instead of spotting up.
I just don't enjoy watching him shoot threes because they very rarely go in. It's like every mid 20% 3-point shooter has improved except for him. He was at 27% before this game, so he's probably right down towards 25%. Like, City above 30%, Caleb Love above 30%, Shane Sharp above 30%, Donovan Clingan above 30%. Oh, I guess Repair is the other guy, but Repair barely shoots. And yeah, his shot is horrible. His shot's ugly. How did he shoot 30%, 36% his rookie year? I don't know. But like Chris Murray, outside of Repair, I guess, is the only guy that legitimately plays minutes, and his shot hasn't improved. So everybody else's has. His hasn't. Would be nice for him to make threes, but the way he shoots the ball, I just don't think is conducive to making threes from the NBA 3-point arc, and that's that. Like, the ball's too far in front of him. He hasn't adjusted. He hasn't messed with his form at all, and I don't understand it. His form is also why I didn't buy him as a 3-point shooter coming into the league, and he shot 34% at Iowa, and I had serious questions about his shot. Part of it, to me, which I've been wrong on, like, basing shooters coming into the league off of form, Famously, I didn't trust Desmond Bane in the way he shot the ball, and obviously he's been a really good 3-point shooter. But, like, the way Chris Murray shot the ball in college, in his form coming into the league, I didn't trust him to make that translate to the NBA level, and it hasn't, and he hasn't done anything to adjust it, so...
Greg Mock with a sarcastic comment. Murray's free throws are money. Since when?
71% this year. Career 59.6%. So I guess that's something. Shout out to, speaking of money, shout out to Muvsy with the $7 Canadian dono. Says, Raptors win and Blazers win. Double down. Muvsy's excited because he was 0 for 8 on double downs and picks against the spread and finally won a double down. He convinced me to double down on the Raptors. So I doubled down on the Raptors. I think I had a pretty good day in picks against the spread. Thank you, Mosey, for the donation. Took me too long to read. It's been an hour. Dang, I just noticed it.
Okay.
My bad.
Kind of says you guys didn't say that when he made those big threes against the Spurs. I mean, we talked about it in the post-game show. You were there, Kenneth. Yeah. But do you have any faith that they're going in? Yeah, he made 2 last game.
Yeah, I mean, he shoots 27%, so 27% of the time it goes in. So sometimes he'll go 2 for 4. Rarely, though. Like, shoots 27%. That doesn't mean he misses every 3, but that's just not good. But yeah, sure, a 1-game sample, it might be good if you're lucky. But he consistently has bad shooting games. He consistently misses 3s. At a too high of a clip. He's not a good enough shooter. Like, I don't really know what the debate is here. He shoots 26% from 3. That's not good. Anyway, City Sissoko shot 4 for 5 from 3 today. Dare I say it, City Sissoko can shoot, Eric.
Don't say it. No.
No, Kenneth wants me to say when a player has a good shooting game that they can shoot. So I'm going to say he could shoot. Even though the last time I said he could shoot, he then went like 1 for 20 from 3 after that. But he went 4 for 5 today. So guess what? City Sissoko's a sniper. He's a shooter. Just wait. He played well today. What'd you think?
Yes, Sissoko was good outside that one fast break where he tried to do it all himself. But yeah, other than that, if he's making threes, it's fine. I don't have a ton of confidence in the shot. Yeah.
A couple nice passes.
Yeah.
For all the plus-minus lovers, he was a -4 in 25 minutes.
Yep.
Ryan,
but no, I mean, anytime he comes in and has a good game, it's always nice.
Yeah. Ryan Repair played 19 minutes, 4 points, 2 boards, an assist, 4 fouls. The assist was that lob to Sharp. Had a nice baseline cut, short roll feed. I believe that was Rob Will.
And then also, I think he had an offensive rebound tip in.
Yeah, he had an offensive rebound tip in. So 4 points in 19 minutes. I mean, that's pretty good for Repair, right?
I mean, he's had better performing games. I don't know. He's just kind of out there. I mean, it's obvious he's not a rotation player
I think it's
on a healthy team.
I think it's clear he's not really an NBA player when he's out there. He's just kind of you hope that he's invisible.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do anything. Like, he just really doesn't do anything. Did a couple of things today, I guess, but yeah. He was fine tonight, I guess, because you didn't really notice him. I didn't really notice him. Would like him to not have 4 fouls in 19 minutes. Would like him to play better defense. He wasn't -7 in 19 minutes. Like, maybe there's something to that. Robert Williams played 12 minutes, had 2 points. He made his only shot. He had a couple of nice passes. One, the cut to Repair. One was the cut from Denny. So that was cool. But, like, he pretty much had no impact on this game on either side. Like, defensively wasn't impressed. Offensively, shot 1 shot in 12 minutes.
Yeah. This was a game we definitely did not need him for. If we would have been on a back-to-back, I would have been pissed that we wasted him in this game.
Does it just feel like he's not impactful because he's just not as good as he used to be, or is it because of how many minutes he plays?
I think it's more just. I think it's more just. I mean, against teams like this, when we're up big and it's like a 3-point shooting contest, I just think those type of games are not the best suited for him. But I don't know. I think he's had some impactful games this year, but it's been against like better teams where we need like smart players on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do think a lot of it is just his. He doesn't ever really get into a rhythm playing 8 to 14 minutes in a game.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Young Hansen came in and made a hook shot and 2 free throws.
Yeah,
The hook shot was nice, left-handed,
right.
good seal. And then,
Yeah, no, I mean it's anytime he comes on the court and doesn't completely look like the worst player in the league, that's a good thing. So we'll take it. But I mean, up 30, garbage time the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. I don't know if you can judge anything positive or negative from what happened. Just good that he didn't look terrible out there.
Agreed. All right, let's talk trades. Feel free to set the stage.
All right. Well, first of all, let's talk about one of the bigger trade dominoes that will probably happen this season, and that's it. Seems very likely that Trae Young is going to get traded. Now, I don't think the Blazers should touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Hell no.
But I saw some people in chat earlier saying we'd be unstoppable if we had him and Dame next year.
What?
Which is just freaking ridiculous.
Who said that? I gotta take away your ball knower card. We give out cards if you know basketball, but if you think Trae Young and Dame is a good backcourt fit together, I gotta take away your ball knower card. Sorry.
Anyways, but even more confusing than the Blazers, the Wizards apparently earlier today jumped to the heavy favorites to land him. One of the people in their front office, I don't know if it's their GM or not, but he was involved with drafting him in Atlanta. And man, I think that would be such a horrible move for Washington.
I actually don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Oh man.
I don't, because he's going to come cheap. Like, he doesn't really have much of a market.
And they were talking about, like, CJ, obviously, for contract purposes, and then other filler, and then multiple first-round picks.
If it's multiple firsts, I don't like it, unless they're, like, really late firsts. Like, obviously, it depends on the compensation. But as far as a fit standpoint, I do like him offensively with Alex Sarr as a pick-and-roll, pick-and-pop duo. And they do have some good defensive pieces as part of their core. Well, I guess it's just Koulibaly and you got Koulibaly and you got Sarr, both of which are really good defensive pieces. A lot of the guys around them aren't good defenders, but if the thought is, okay, you can get this guy cheap and he's led a team to a conference finals before, and the logic is, okay, we got a couple good defensive pieces and he can be a good pick and roll duo with Sarr, and then we're going to surround these guys with more defenders and, you know, still probably get a top pick in this year's draft. Maybe they can get one of the big three. Like, if the price is low, I get it. So those are my thoughts on that.
I don't think they're going to trade him if it's like a super low value, and I think enough teams want him.
Well, I think part of it is you get CJ's expiring contract back. Does that match? I can't talk. Does that match Anthony Davis on its own?
I don't know.
Probably not. I don't think it does.
Because Anthony Davis makes like 40 or 50 million, I think.
Well, CJ's making 30 something.
32 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So Anthony Davis would be having to make like 40, which he's making more than that. Yeah, he's making 54. So I don't really know how the matching salary part works. If the plan is to trade for AD down the line, I don't know. I don't know how they would figure out the salaries because you can't aggregate with CJ if you trade for him. But I think for the Hawks, it's like, why not trade him right now? Your team is worse with him.
Oh, yeah. From a Hawks perspective, I think they should absolutely trade him. It's been pretty clear this year that they're better without him.
Like, I don't hate, the Mavs trading AD there and they get Trae Young back as a piece amongst like a bunch of picks or whatever, and then Trae Young can take the playmaking burden that really nobody stepped up. He's somebody that can like feed flag, put flag in maybe a little better positions as a rookie to succeed. Of course, they experimented with flag at point guard at the start of the season. That did not go well. Now, you can't really play Trae with Kyrie if you're trying to win any actual basketball games, but I don't hate that as a piece back in an AD trade, not as even the main piece, but just like that's the salary filler for Dallas. Maybe it's Trae Young, Risa Shea, and 2 picks. I don't really know exactly what AD's trade value is. Apparently it's not high either. But that's like, if you're trying to justify it to the fan base and AD doesn't have much trade value and this is a fan base that's still pissed off because you traded Luka for AD and a pick, like you can get back Trae Young and say, oh, we got back a star guard and we got back 2 picks or whatever, even though the star guard does not have star guard value. Like that's how you can frame it to a fan base. So I don't hate that for Dallas, I guess. But where else, man? There's really not anywhere that makes a whole lot of sense. So if they're going to get good value for him, where else would it even come from?
Trae Young?
Yeah.
Well, there's some rumors that the Bucks, they're supposedly trying to make one last push with Giannis. And then
that's not the player you get, though. I mean, that's the player they might get, but I don't know. What do they even have to give up outside of a 2031 or 2032 pick? Like, I mean, I guess
that's what it is. Yeah.
That's better, but that's not multiple firsts.
Yeah. I mean, you'd rather have one of the Bucks picks that far out than pretty much any other team right now, right?
Yeah, but
unless it's like a high pick in this coming draft, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I also saw some stuff that there's some differing reports that the Kings might be interested in.
Yeah. You have
also,
Fox
the
and Halliburton and end up with
Lakers are interested in him, but I don't know how they get him.
No. Lakers are not. I can guarantee they're not interested in him. I can guarantee that's a BS report. That's a clickbait. Who said the Lakers are interested in him?
No, I mean it's not BS. The Lakers are interested in him. They would want him. I just
Trae Young?
don't know if they have. Yeah.
They're saving cap space for next offseason. He hurts that. The last thing they need is arguably the worst defensive guard in the draft to pair next to Luka and Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Like that defensively with LeBron.
It's just any name there.
Yeah, but that to me is like, oh, well, that's Lakers get clicks. All right, Lakers are interested in Trae Young. Like, I don't believe they're actually interested in him.
Yeah.
Nothing about what they need to get better at and what they're trying to do next offseason says that they would have any interest in Trae Young. They need defense. They need wing defense. They need athleticism at the wing spots. They have Austin Reeves. They have Luka. They have LeBron. They don't need more playmaking or shot creation for other guys.
Oh, I know, but it's the Lakers, so they think they can just trade for everyone and make it work.
Well, their fan base, yeah.
I actually heard a rumor that this team actually makes a ton of sense if you're just talking about having defensive pieces around them, and that's the team they played tonight.
Yeah, Toronto.
Them start, like quickly for or not straight up, but like a package around quickly, and other pieces for him.
I like the idea of Toronto going after a point guard that's an upgrade from Quickly, but I don't really like Trey.
I mean, it would be such a change of dynamic for their team to have him with the ball.
Yeah, but it's like Scotty in a way is kind of your point guard. Like he handles more facilitation than quickly. Yeah. So, but he's also, I don't know exactly what he's shooting from three, but historically he hasn't been the best 3-point shooter. I would want a point guard that's I would want a point guard that is a better all-around creator from quickly, but also can play off Scotty a bit better than I would expect Trey to be able to.
Although I do think Trae Young's percentages are terrible, but he shoots so many terrible threes and like deep threes and stuff. Like he's a high volume shooter, but if you got him better looks because he was more of a spot up shooter at times.
Yeah, but he's not doing that when he has Jalen Johnson next to him.
Yeah.
If I was Toronto, I would rather have LaMelo Ball than Trae Young.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that for every team. But LaMelo's a better 3-point shooter, and I think would be a little better fit off the ball.
To be fair, Trae Young is one of the best playmaking creators over the last decade or so.
Yeah. But, like, you got Scotty, and RJ can make a play. And you got, a couple guys on the bench. Well, I guess it's just Colin Murray Boyles for a power forward off the bench, can pass. Jamal Shed has been a really good passer this year. Like, I'd rather get somebody a little bit more well-rounded if I was Toronto, but I could see them going after it, especially if they come cheap. But I don't see them trading multiple firsts for Trae Young. Then again, they traded for Brandon Ingram, and it was like, what the hell are they doing? But now they're in the playoff position, so I guess that's working out. I don't know. Toronto's weird. Toronto's always operated in weird ways, under Masai Ujiri and after Masai Ujiri.
Yep. All right, so that's enough Trae Young talk. Now we have to go on to the Blazer rumor from today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's via Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo Sports, so take this with a grain of salt. But he says that there have been at least 3 teams linked to Kuminga, and those are the Pelicans, the Wizards, and your Portland Trailblazers. And he goes on to say that Portland has Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday to realistically offer in a trade. Drew doesn't already guard heavy, but some sort of Grant for Kuminga trade was tough to.
We're lagging. First trade talk of the year, and we're lagging. Lagging hard. Stream might die.
I thought it was me, but it's not.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. Stream might die.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still hear you.
Yeah, I can still hear you. So our Streamlabs is fine.
This is a YouTube issue? Chat, can you still hear us?
It's gotta be.
Man, oh man. If chat can still hear us, I mean, we can talk about Kuminga. We can still hear and see you guys pretty clearly. It's been a while since we've had a lag on stream like this. I don't know what's going on.
Audio is fine. Okay.
This is the video?
We'll just keep talking then.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
The video's looking a little better, but all right. Kuminga.
I mean, Jeremy Grant makes more than him. honestly, Tori, this is gonna sound silly, but I'd rather have Jeremy Grant moving forward.
I agree. I
It's
actually
so dumb.
agree.
I know, but it sounds so weird to say after we've just been trying to get rid of Grant's contract off the books for a while. But like, if we're taking that step, I still think we need Jeremy's like productivity and shooting and stuff. And I mean, it's not the greatest defender, but like he's adequate on that end. It helps our defense not hurt it. But um, I just I'd have people see people will if Cronin makes this move, people will say like, "Oh, he got this young potential stud piece," you
You guys
know.
wanted Grant gone. Now you're gonna hate on
They're
the move. You just want to hate on Cronin.
they will spin it, especially if we're negative about it. They'll be like, "Oh, you guys just want to hate every move he makes."
If he makes the
But
move, by the way, I'll be like, okay, it's fine. I guess I get it, but also I'm not gonna applaud it.
but I'm saying this ahead of time, okay?
Yeah.
Any move Cronin makes like this, if it was like Grant for Kuminga and filler, um, it's basically telling me that Joe Cronin has no idea how to get shooting onto this team, and we are doomed to forever wonder, just like we did with Dame, what Denny could have actually done with these crazy numbers he's putting up if he had actual legit shooting around him. And we'll never know, right? Because there's no way in hell Cronin will ever get a shooter if he makes a trade like this, in my opinion. Like, we're just doomed to make it work with all these non-shooting athletic dudes that can maybe play defense, and that's it. Like,
He can't even like maybe play defense. He's actually a really bad team defender.
Yeah. Kirk says Kuminga has 2 years left. He actually,
It's a team
it's
option.
just this. It was a 2-year contract with a team option for next year. So you can get out of it after this year, or you could pick it up for next year, I guess.
Yeah. So here's what it boils down to for me. Grant playing better this year makes his contract more stomachable. That's the thing, is like, people will hold me to an opinion based on Jeremy Grant being awful last season, when I'm not going to still act like he's playing awful when he's playing better. Like, things change. It's sports. Things change from year to year. It's still a very questionable contract, but there's no opportunity cost that the Blazers are missing out on because they then traded for Drew, right? And some of the questions I had about Grant, it was like, will he accept a bench role? He's done that. Will he bounce back from last season? He's done that. And the Blazers, if they traded Grant for an expiring and hadn't extended Kamara or Sharp yet, could have had like $50+ million of cap space next offseason, with Dame, with Denny, with Sharp, Kamara, Klingon, right? Like, with this whole core that they had. So the idea of what the Blazers could do with that cap space was very intriguing. That's why I wanted to move on from Grant, given his struggles. But after trading for Drew, and extending Kamara and extending Sharp, that ship has flown, okay, which is fine. And Grant accepted a bench role, and he's playing much better this season. So the circumstances have completely changed, right? But anybody who doesn't really think about that or listen to us explain that will say, you guys wanted Grant gone, now you're mad that he got traded for Kuminga, when the circumstances are completely different. So opinions, of course, change based on the latest available circumstances, information. Like, that's how things are supposed to go.
Also, before the Drew trade and signing Dame, we were in a position where if we traded him for a guy like Kuminga and then like didn't pick up his option, we'd have a crap load of cap space.
Yeah.
And now that's completely gone. So that shifts what you need to get in return. Now that we're actually fighting for a play-in, you need a player that at least contributes as much as Grant back in that deal or assets to help you get that player. And I don't believe Kuminga is that much of an upgrade.
Well, also, I don't think Portland's as desperate for upside because of Denny's breakout and because it looks like Sharp's taking a step right now. And you got Dame potentially next year. Like, if the Blazers are going to go for if the Blazers are going to try and raise their ceiling, it needs to be for a proven star. It doesn't need to be for a speculative star, because I don't think this is the right situation for Kuminga to take steps towards maybe being a fringe level all-star caliber player. I think with the amount of ball handling that the Blazers are going to have next year, with the need for a shooter, with the forwards that they already have, like, there's no starting spot here when he gets traded here. And he doesn't fill a need. Trading Jeremy Grant for him just makes one of the Blazers' biggest needs worse. So I think in the right situation, he could develop, but I don't think this is the right situation for him. And that's different from like a year or two ago where the Blazers needed upside and they could take on a project like this. But it feels like the Blazers have this season have graduated from that. I don't really like his fit next to Denny, next to Sharp. Like, they just need more shooting and need 3-and-D guys, and if those guys can
fit next to Scoot either.
Yeah, if those guys can do stuff off the dribble, great. But Kuminga is not a good team defender either. We've seen the defense take a step back, and Golden State needs bodies, and he's out here getting DNPs. I don't think that's a coincidence. So, and I don't want to make the shooting even worse. So. Yeah. And also, Kuminga seems like the type of guy that if he gets traded to Portland, he's going to expect to start. He's not going to want to come off the bench. He's not going to want to come off the bench.
Well, he's been unhappy coming off the bench on Golden State.
Exactly. So imagine if he gets traded to Portland where he's not playing with future Hall of Famers. Yeah, he's not going to be happy coming off the bench. So there's just so much wrong with that type of move that I hate it. I don't like it. And I would be frustrated if they traded Grant for Kuminga, because that to me speaks to, I mean, if you're just cap dumping Grant, okay. Like, that trade makes more sense to cap dump Grant than to actually, like, take Kuminga on as a long-term project, in my opinion. But if you're, why would you cap dump Grant now?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, so another point that Tristan brings up in chat, why would you give Golden State a guy that can help them beat us in the standings for someone who's not playing at all for them right now? Yeah. And then I want to comment on two things you said. The Grant situation, like, his attitude and some of his comments he made heading into the season and at the exit interviews last year, that guy seemed so checked out. And then the season started and he seemed locked in and he seemed ready to contribute in whatever role it was. And so I have to give him a lot of credit for accepting that and not being, I don't know what the right word is, whiny or whatever he was in the off season. Like, he just did not seem like he wanted to be here or wanted to accept that role or whatever, but he's been fine with it. And that's completely different than like similar issues we had with Ayton or someone like that in previous seasons. And I feel like Kuminga is closer to the Ayton thing at this point than he is to Jeremy Grant just being a steady contributor no matter what his role is. And the other thing is that you said we don't necessarily need potential. I think you always do. Like, it's always good to have potential, but I don't think the archetype of player Kuminga is the right type of potential. We need more of shooting potential or like some sort of like two-way, like if he was more like Scotty Barnes type, like then you could maybe justify it, like having just more playmaking or whatever, but like he's not even really that. He's just like, I don't know. He's like a way worse Zion or something. It's just I don't know if his archetype is the type of potential we need, but I do still think we need potential in certain areas.
Potential only makes sense if you have a situation that can foster it. Why trade for a guy with all the potential in the world if you're bringing him into a situation that will never bring that potential out of him? Then that potential doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It doesn't exist. You're bringing in a guy that's like theoretically has high potential but has struggled to, I guess, develop towards it, due in part to, I guess, his situation, his attitude towards that situation. You're going to bring him into a similar situation and expect him to have a different attitude, and then somehow it's going to work. So that's why I don't like where potential is just a word thrown around without any regard for the context that comes with that potential, right? People throw around like this applies to scouting. People say this prospect's a high upside guy, but there's a difference between a high upside guy that it's a complete long shot for him to ever develop into that player, Young Onsen, and a guy with maybe a little lower upside with far greater likelihood to reach that level of upside. Like, in my opinion, a Cedric Coward. 9 times out of 10, the Cedric Coward in that situation is going to be the better piece long term and is the smarter bet, because I still think he has the potential to become an all-star one day, just like Jalen Williams became an all-star, right? So there's a difference between talking like, oh, what this player could be, what his ceiling is, and what's realistic and what's the most likely outcome. So I think it's kind of a similar thing here. Yeah, theoretically, does he have star potential? Sure, he's athletic, can put the ball on the floor, and maybe one day could develop into a shooter. But I think there's a 95% chance that at best he's just a solid starter who's athletic and becomes, I don't know, maybe the next Jeremy Grant in Detroit. Like, that's the most likely high-level outcome for Jonathan Kuminga, in my opinion. But he still struggles with team defense, hasn't gotten better there. Like, he's not a particularly good defensive player. So, yeah, I don't want him. People get too caught up in just the idea of a player's ceiling when that's more often than not, far more often than not, it's not the outcome that happens.
Yeah, and so I get that people, I mean, you can apply this to so many players, but I get the whole, well, imagine him instead of Chris Murray. Wouldn't you like that? Yes, of course. But you're also, I think, limiting the potential of this team by getting rid of Jeremy, too, because Jeremy limits how much of those guys can play as well.
Yeah.
So, like, the problem is, in a perfect world, you could add a Kuminga without, like, that's the kind of guy you maybe like take a chance on. But now that he's signed like a bigger contract, it seems like a Mo Harkless type situation. But we got Mo Harkless for like a protected second round pick, and his contract was cheap enough to where we didn't really have to give anything up for it. So I just think it would be a mistake right now to trade Jeremy or anyone on this roster for a worse player, just hoping that they somehow have potential, unless it's a skill set that is not currently on this roster of like a shooter or some sort of player we don't have. I don't know an example on the top of my head, but like I don't know. I just think it would be a mistake to make that move now for a player that would most likely make our offense worse.
You know who the best spot for him is? Sacramento. After they trade Levine and they can keep. I actually think Sabonis could help out Kuminga, really good passing big. But, like, after they trade DeRozan and Levine and they're rebuilding and they have such a void for offense, just insert him in there, give him a high-volume role, and let him figure it out over the next couple of years. That is the type of situation he needs. That is not Portland anymore. We're past that. We are past that. So, like, let him go to Sacramento. They have a really good fan base there. Maybe he can buy in, especially if given that sort of role. Portland's just not a good fit. People get too caught up in like big names or theoretical upside when discussing trades, so that's why they want to take a shot on him. But I mean, Cam Reddish was a big name once and had theoretical upside, and I was the guy who was a hater because I didn't think that he had star potential anymore when the Blazers traded for him, and now he's out of the league. I've seen this story before, and it always tends to go that way. The only time it didn't, I guess, was they traded for Denny, but Denny was already proving to be a very versatile, well-rounded player that will buy into different roles and, like, plays hard and didn't have the same baggage and could do it all. And when they traded for Denny, there's a reason why I was like, this dude has sneaky upside. Like, this dude could be really good because he can handle the ball, he can shoot, he can drive hard, he can finish, he can defend, he can pass. So those are the types of guys to take chances on. Any forwards that are young, that are maybe starting to develop, that a team might want to give up, that has a combination of, speed, strength, ball handling ability, and shooting ability, and playmaking feel, like those are the combination of traits you should be looking for. Kuminga, I guess, just has strength, speed, and he doesn't have the shot. He doesn't have the playmaking feel. He's not a particularly good ball handler. Like, he doesn't have the combination of traits I would be looking for. But the thing is Kuminga's the guy with upside because he's athletic and fast as a forward. Whereas the more well-rounded guys, I feel like their upside is underrated. That's why I liked Cedric Howard so much in the draft. Also, older prospects get underrated in terms of their upside in the draft as well. But that's why Jalen Williams was a good pick.
Yeah. Kirk's saying some crazy stuff in chat.
Yeah, he is.
I would start Kuminga over Tamani.
What is he better at than Tamani? Please tell me what he's better at than Tamani, other than being athletic.
Yeah. And he's also mentioned multiple times that Kuminga scored 30 points in a playoff game. Tori, if I tell you,
I got
name one name that also scored 30 points in a playoff game, which is actually a conference finals game, an elimination conference.
I knew exactly where you were going with this. Yeah.
Who else scored 30 points in a playoff game, Tori?
It's a guy with two last names. Yeah. Bring back Myers Leonard.
Yeah, so we should bring him out of retirement.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. One game. You're gonna base your whole argument off of one game.
The trade rumors, and like, we haven't had a trade this season. We haven't had our first trade of trade season. The rumors have been super quiet. We haven't talked trades a lot, and we're almost halfway through the season, but with a month to the trade deadline, now's the time. But yeah, that's all I had to say on that. Not a fan of getting Kuminga. Let's talk the injuries real quick. I'm becoming more convinced that the Blazers are just purposefully being misleading with evaluation timelines. Like, I'm getting to the point where I believe that they knew Scoot was hurt worse than what a 4 to 8 week timeline for returning to basketball activities would suggest. I think they knew it was going to be longer than that. I think the Jeremy thing, Eric, Achilles tendonitis, you don't heal tendonitis in a day. Like, you have to rest it for a prolonged period of time, and I guess you can get to a point where it's like, okay, we feel comfortable with it, it's not gone. But like, tendonitis is not naturally like a day-to-day thing, no matter where you have it, but especially in an Achilles tendon, which you're going to be careful with. I think the day-to-day thing is purposefully misleading as well. I think they've known that he's going to be out a while since he went down with that injury. And I said it when he went down with that injury, like, this seems like something that could be, they act like isn't a big deal, but he could be out a whole month. And that's what it seems like, because they're sitting here, we brought him on the road trip. He's day-to-day. Well, he was ruled out well before every game of the road trip. He comes home, he was ruled out well before this game as well. It's not even questionable. So
and we had to hear them say, oh, he's on the road trip with them. He could play anytime.
A 35-year-old having a calf strain does not suggest a 1 to 2 week timeline either.
No.
They, in my opinion, are, for whatever reason, being very misleading with the timelines they're giving.
Well, the Scoot thing, this is why I can't stand the organization sometimes, because Joe Cronin on Media Day kind of backtracked the 4 to 8 weeks thing. He was like, well, sometimes hamstrings can take up to 12 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was already backtracking on that. That was just a couple weeks later or a week later or something. That was right before training camp, right? So, man. And I don't know if they're just trying to protect the medical staff or something, but man, it seems to me just in general, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but from everything I've read, it's better to have the surgery. It just means you're going to be out for a set amount of time. And if it's not severe enough to have the surgery, yes, just rest it and it should be fine. But I don't know. It seems like they made a huge mistake not just having him have surgery, and they've been trying to like mitigate that ever since by kind of beating around the bush to how bad it was.
So we've in the past, not to take this here, but yeah, I'm going to take this here. We in the past with the whole Dame situation felt like this organization was being a bit purposefully misleading about that situation. This is another one of these situations where it feels like they're being purposefully misleading. And I mean, Cronin walking it back, like I think Cronin knew it was going to be more than 4 to 8 weeks and was purposefully misleading for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't really have an explanation, but I just don't think they're being honest with their fan base.
Here's the thing. Okay, so if we're trying to like theorize why that is, I mean, the most logical thing would be they don't want people to lose interest if all these guys are known right away that they're out for a long time, right? Like, I guess that kind of makes sense. But, I mean, this team is still fun to watch. But the thing is, so Shady in chat says, I think it was re-injury. Scoot would have had surgery early on, knowing the importance of season for him. Okay. If this is where my theory, or what the most likely theory, doesn't make sense then. Because if he truly re-injured it at some point, rehabbing, or like it got worse somehow, maybe he did something, like, then that's better for the Blazers, in my opinion, to say that, right? Like, yeah. Just be like, hey, he was supposed to be back within 8 weeks. Unfortunately, he kind of re-injured again, rehabbing, and it's going to be a while longer. Then we'd all be like, okay, that freaking sucks, but at least we know it wasn't like a misdiagnosis. It was just like, oh, hey, we expected to have him back by now. He would have probably been back somewhere around the date we expect him to be back by, but unfortunately he re-injured it or made it worse doing something. So, like, I don't understand why they can't just say that if that's what happened. So that leads me to believe that didn't happen, because that would let them off the hook a little bit for all these questions. So I don't understand why they wouldn't just say that. So that leads me back to, it had to have been a misdiagnosis of how severe it was. And that's bad considering all the things you just mentioned, where it's not just Scoot, it's now multiple injuries. And I mean, we can go back other seasons too, but just this season, it's now multiple players, multiple injuries that have been way worse than they tried to lead on from the beginning.
I don't even think there was a misdiagnosis. I think they knew how bad it was, and I think they gave a misleading timetable. I don't know why.
Just on purpose, like,
Yeah.
oh, he's going to be out 3 months, but we're just going to say
Yeah.
4 weeks just to mess with people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's what I believe. I don't know what their motive was for that, but that's what I believe. Why say Jeremy's day to day for 3 weeks if he's clearly not day to day? I mean, why say GP 2 weeks is going to be ready by training camp or whatever, however they phrased it? You know what I mean? They have a history. They have a history of being misleading with this stuff.
These same media people who say that people are stupid for worrying about injuries, I still want this answer, Tori. It pisses me off that no one has the balls to ask Joe Cronin this question. And that is, are you an idiot that just didn't know that GP2 was hurt when everyone else knew he was hurt when you signed him? Or did you sign him knowing he had to have that core surgery? And
why? Think about this. Think about why they wouldn't. Okay? In this, I know
why they don't ask the question.
Well, I'll explain it for people that might be confused, okay? Here's why certain people in the media will never ask that question, okay? Because it is much easier to not ask that question, to get in the good graces of a Joe Cronin, so that you can get nuggets and then report from a place of like, I know what's actually going on within the organization. And that's your like place that you have value in, is, you know, I'm the insider. I talk to people. This is what's actually going on. That's their way of getting people to listen. Because a lot of it, people aren't listening to them for like X's and O's or basketball analysis. Like, they're listening to them for information. And being able to get this information is more valuable than just going out there and asking a question that Joe Cronin wouldn't like.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, so the Blazers had 2 players they were looking to sign that offseason. It was Gary Payton II and Bruce Brown. Now, Bruce Brown would go on to win a championship and then call out a random team he was still thinking about how pissed off it was that this team said he wasn't a winning player or something. That's how he interpreted what they told him. And where Gary Payton was coming off a championship with the Warriors, but everyone knew he was injured and playing that playoffs with injuries. And so did they not perform a physical? Did they not do anything? So, I mean, I understand why no one's asked the question, but it irritates me that going back to that offseason, we still don't know why this team chose Gary Payton, who was injured at the time, over someone like Bruce Brown. And then the whole fiasco with Gary Payton that season transpires or whatever, and he's a little biatch all season long until we trade him. And so I don't get it, because like it's going back to that where we learned nothing. Like they told us nothing about the injuries. Remember how frustrating that was? Like they gave us like no information. Like what the heck? You said he was going to be back by the start of the season, and it's December, and he's still not playing. Like, and almost the same kind of thing. And then people killed me because I was one game off of when he was supposed to come back because he was such a baby that he didn't want to play against Golden State when they had already decided months ago that he was going to play in that game no matter what, even if he was still hurt. But like, yeah, and then he plays one game and then gets hurt again. But it's crazy, man. And so we're going back to a situation where, yeah, it's hard to trust them, and I don't understand why they're like this or why they can't just be upfront about it. Like there has to be a reason why they're not like that, and I don't know. It seems like there has to be something they're covering up, and I don't understand what that is.
For some reason, they wanted to make Scoot's injury sound not as bad as it was.
Is it just like, okay, so I'm not saying these people are correct, but there's a huge fact that still a huge faction that still calls Scoot a bust no matter what he does. Like, you know what I mean? And I know I'm not trying to piss you off, Tori, but like there are people who think Scoot sucks or whatever in the fan base. Are they just trying to protect him from those people? Like, because like, oh great, he sucks his first 2 years and then is hurt or whatever now and isn't going to play for a long time. Like, that would make sense because we know the Blazers have been, I mean, was it Joe or Chauncey that said that they were actually protecting their young players in previous years, and it was time to take the kid gloves off or whatever? And like, I don't know, man. It seems like they try to hide their players from any criticism, and then that comes back to the draft pick being criticized, and Joe Cronin's still here in charge, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Well, let's just say you don't tear a hamstring off the bone and return to basketball activities in 48 weeks. You don't do that and misdiagnose that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust this organization. I don't trust. I don't know if it starts with Joe Cronin or what, but like I don't trust this organization, this current regime, to be upfront and transparent with the public. But until this latest rash of injuries, there's a lot of people that believed that Joe Cronin and this front office was transparent with the fan base. And just buy everything that's ever said, and then if something makes no sense, then just excuses it away with, oh, that's just GM speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you talked about it. Joe Cronin walked it back before the season, like maybe this could take 12 weeks. They had no idea how long it was going to take. They knew it was going to take a long time, but they had no idea how long, so they give out a 4 to 8 week return to basketball activities. Return basketball activities could mean anything. That could just mean, oh, he can shoot from a standstill. So, but what makes me really believe this is the Jeremy thing. It's almost like they think we're that stupid. Achilles tendonitis, questionable the first 2 games, then he goes to out Achilles tendonitis. So you're going to sit here and say he's day-to-day, and then he's out 3 more weeks without ever being questionable and just going to act like, yeah, he's just been day-to-day for 3 weeks. With Achilles tendonitis, it's not like it's a sprained ankle. It's not like it's something light. It's Achilles tendonitis. Like, it's tendonitis. That's not a day-to-day injury. If you legitimately have tendonitis in your Achilles, that's not a day-to-day injury. But they want to sit here and act like it's day-to-day. We brought him on the road trip because he's day-to-day and doesn't play. Doesn't even come close to playing. Like, they are obviously being misleading. It's so obvious at this point to me.
Well, what calf injury for a 35-year-old is 1 week injury too?
Yeah.
Well, and this is so simple, and it actually makes me mad that it's this way, because all you would have to say with Jeremy is, hey, he's having some issues with his Achilles. We're going to play it safe and cautious and not play him because there's been a rash of Achilles injuries in recent years, and we don't want to risk him blowing his Achilles. So we're not really sure what the timeline is on him. We just want his Achilles to be better before we risk him playing. And then everyone would be like, okay, it kind of sucks that we don't have a timeline, but at least then we know he's gonna play whenever it's better. And that's all you'd have to say, right? And then all these questions, you don't question any timeline, you don't question why is he day to day, but always out a day before the game. If it's like a day-to-day thing, what if he's fine tomorrow? Like it's so like I don't understand why these billion-dollar franchises can't figure out the PR aspect of it sometimes. It's just it's baffling, man.
Yeah. So shout out to the person who brought up CMC in chat. Sorry, I lost the comment. I would shout out your name. But you remember, Christian McCaffrey was thought to play opening day last season in the NFL and then has Achilles tendonitis and gets put on injured reserve, meaning he has to miss at least 4 weeks. That was immediately put on injured reserve. Immediately, he's going to miss at least 4 weeks with Achilles tendonitis. He ends up missing 8 weeks. Christian McCaffrey does. That's what this injury is. Like, that's the timeline. He missed basically almost 2 months. And immediately after diagnosing it, it's like he misses 1 month. And I guess some tendonitis could be worse, but it is not a day-to-day injury. They keep saying day-to-day. It's insane. It's insane to sit here and tell people, yeah, he's been day-to-day this whole time when he's been out for 3 weeks with Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah, and a little bit of the McCaffrey thing was like the 49ers had a down year last year, so they didn't want to risk playing him. So not the 4 weeks, but the 8-week part, there was no reason to play him. But yeah, I mean, I can't argue with the 4 weeks versus day to day.
Like, and obviously you're going to be cautious with Achilles tendonitis. You don't want him to tear his Achilles after all these Achilles tears. Like, that would really hurt his career, right? You should be cautious. Like, just come out and say he's out at least 3 to 4 weeks. You can say out at least 3 to 4 weeks, and you could. People will understand. Okay, he actually has Achilles tendonitis. Yeah, but like, just come out and say he's going to be out for a while. People are going to understand you're being cautious with Achilles tendonitis.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with all the Achilles tears. We have a guy on our roster, our greatest player ever, arguably, is on our roster again because he tore his Achilles. People are going to understand if Jeremy Grant's out for a bit. People are going to understand if Drew Holiday's out for a bit with a calf strain.
What if he tore his Achilles and
I'm not laughing at the idea, but like, they were lying about it. Yeah, I don't know. But like, I mean,
sorry, bad joke.
No, I don't think it's a bad joke at all. Like, would they take things that far? But I'll Google Achilles tendonitis recovery timeline sports. Achilles tendonitis recovery timelines vary from weeks to over a year depending on severity. Mild cases resolve in 2 to 4 weeks. Moderate in 6 to 12 weeks. With chronic tendinosis can take 3 to 6 months or longer. Mild cases resolve in 2 to 4 weeks.
I had tendinosis.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to get basically the full Achilles surgery just to fix it.
Yeah.
Because it got so bad, yeah.
There's another article that says... There's another article that says, research shows that full resolution of symptoms and return to sport takes anywhere between 6 weeks to up to a year. day to day this entire time. Freaking insane. Shoot, if we had Joe Cronin as the GM when Nurk broke his leg, would he have said he's week to week? Like, I think Jeremy's going to miss at least a month.
You saw his legs bent sideways laying on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, all jokes aside, like, yeah. They're being misleading. I'm fully convinced. And the Jeremy thing is what fully convinced me. There's no way they're not. There's no way they're telling him. There's no way they're telling themselves yes, Achilles tendonitis. The Matisse thing, like, he was supposed to return a while ago from a broken hand or thumb, and then they finally come out and say, actually, his knee's bothering him, and here, we'll switch the injury report and put the knee this time.
Yeah, why not just say that when it started happening?
No. Nope. So, anyway, Blazers are misleading you guys and us. If you don't believe me, I don't know what else you need to believe it, but it's been a history. And new regime change coming soon, so we'll see. We'll see if that changes that. Hopefully. But the Blazers keep winning basketball games. Anything else, Eric?
No, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate y'all. Blazers are playing great lately, so that's the silver lining, right? Is that even with all these injuries, they continue to win games. They're creeping back up towards 500. Now they hit a very tough stretch of games, though, so gotta somehow tread water this next week and a half or so against all these tough teams. Would be nice to get one of these games against the Rockets at least. Just hoping they play decent enough to have a chance to win one of those two games. I mean, if they can pull them both out, it'd be great. But yeah, we'll be here for you. Days are off on the top still, but that's Wednesday, the 7th. We'll be here for the post-game show, and then we'll be here also on Friday for the same team.
The same team. Split these games against the Rockets. Like 3 games ago, I said win 2 of the 3 against New Orleans, San Antonio, and Utah. They won all 3. That's cool. Mm-hmm. On this graphic, they've won 5 games and only lost 1. But now they're going to get tested, okay? Like OKC, that's still the best team in the league and on the road. Like, okay, I understand that. Boston's a decent team at home. You beat them. Utah sucks. Mavericks are a lottery team right now. Spurs were shorthanded. The thing is, the Rockets are going to be without Şengün. This is a beatable team right now, in my opinion. Like, they should be going into this next game confidently. And I'm curious to see what the betting line will be. But you got 2 games against the Rockets. You got a game against the Knicks, who have been struggling a little bit lately. They got blown out by the Pistons today. The Pistons didn't even have Jalen Duren. Win 2 of these next 3. It's at home. Like, this team is playing well enough that I can set that as a goal against playoff teams. Win 2 of the next 3. That would put you at 19 and 21. Yeah. I mean, if they can win all 3 and be at 20 and 20, that'd be sick. It'd be awesome to be 500 again halfway through the season with a tough schedule and all the injuries. Like, 3 home wins away from that, man. Anyway, shout out to Sleeper. Make sure you use promo code Uprise. Thank you to them for sponsoring the postgame show. The code will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit required, and 100% deposit match up to $100. You can get in on the next round of the college football playoff. I don't even know when that is, but they have college football for you. And, of course, NFL playoffs next weekend. I'm honestly not looking forward to it.
College football is Friday. Well, at least the Ducks game is Friday. I don't know when the other game is.
Go Indiana. Go Indiana. But you can get in on the action Friday. We got NFL Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So if you're into football, they got that. If you're into college basketball, they got that. If you're into NBA, of course, they got that. And if you're into NBA, then that makes sense why you're here watching the stream. So shout out to Sleeper. Use the promo code Uprise. Thank you to them for sponsoring the post-game show. We'll be back again on Wednesday after the Blazers take on the Houston Rockets. I'm not planning on going to that game, so expect a normal 9:30 p.m. Pacific time start time for that stream. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching back after the fact, made it this far, let me know in the comment section. Leave a comment. Leave your thoughts on this game. This was an awesome game. The Blazers dominated the Jazz. They led by as much as 32 points. They win a game by 20. It's always cool when the Blazers can get a blowout win because they haven't gotten many of those so far this season, but they've gotten a couple lately. They're playing better basketball. Denny Avdija playing like a superstar. Shane Sharp has maybe his most well-rounded game of the season, 29-7-5. You got Caleb Love continuing to do some things off the bench. I think we might have skipped him, but, I mean, he's been consistent lately. And Sissoko stepped up, made 4 or 5 from 3. Klingon continues to knock down threes. He's a legitimate shooter. I'm looking forward to seeing what his 3-point percentage is tomorrow once his stats from this game load in. So, anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We are out of here. Blazers win. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!